Thank you, Dan. Crunch time in the championship season. No room for excuses. No more time for talking. It's time to get out on the pitch. Do your very best and make sure you get over that dotted line. And for West Bromwich Albion and Norwich City, today is must-win in their respective fights for a place in the championship playoffs after a extraordinary afternoon around the grounds around the country in the EFL. We know in the championship that Wigan have joined Blackpool in being relegated, but there are top 6 spots still up for grabs. West Brom 2 games to go, 5 points adrift. Norwich 2 games to go, 6 points away. And while for the Canaries it is verging on very difficult mathematically for them to secure their playoff berth, for West Brom you still feel that the dream is very much alive. A win tonight would close the gap to Millwall in 6th to just 2 points ahead of that dramatic final day to come next weekend live across the Talksport network. The equation is a very simple one, Chris Sewellamo. It's win or it's season over for both.
Exactly. And I think what an incentive. The easiest team talk both managers can have. I think, the players want to go out there. There's nothing like the playoffs. They want to get into the playoffs. Obviously, the goal, I think, for both teams was probably automatic promotion before the ball was kicked. No matter what you think, how pre-season has went, you look at the quality and depth of both groups, or both squads, and it's very realistic as the season's played out. Injuries, performances, consistency has probably lacked a little bit, but they have to go again. They have to make sure this goes right to the wire. Someone has to win, so I see both teams going for it for the 96, 97 minutes we're going to get today.
Floodlights are on. We've had dreadful rain in the build-up to this game, but the rain has stopped for now. We're in the West Midlands for the final part of an extraordinary day in the Championship, in the EFL and in the Premier League, on game day on the Talksport network, and Norwich City get us off and underway here at the Hawthorns, playing from right to left in the first half. Canary yellow and green, their familiar colours, and West Brom in their familiar strip too of dark blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and white socks. 1,700 travelling fans. The Hawthorns is mostly full. I remind you of the equation for both teams tonight. They both have to win to keep up the fight for the playoffs. Norwich 6 points adrift, West Brom 5 away. Early chance for Wallace through to Thomas Asante in the middle, gathered by Angus Gunn, the Norwich goalkeeper. West Brom then, I remind you the teams. Palmer is in goal, Furlong, Ajayi, Peters and Townsend the back 4, Malumbi and Yakushlu holding, Wallace, Swift and to the left hand side Grant in support of Thomas Asante up front. And for Norwich City, Gunn the goalkeeper, with Aarons, Omabamidele, Byram and Yanulis in the back 4, Sara, Sørensen and Gibbs in midfield, with Marquinhos and Solis either side of Josh Sargent up front. Heavy touch by Ajayi, and he's almost dispossessed by Gibbs just on the edge of his own penalty area, but he'll turn and send it back to the feet of the West Brom goalkeeper, all in orange, Alex Palmer. We are just to the left of the halfway line, high up in the Halfords Lane stand, towards the end that Norwich are attacking in the first half. The atmosphere is tremendous. Both teams have to win. This is just what the Championship is all about, Chris Sewellamo.
Yeah, and look at how West Brom, without the ball, very compact, hard to beat. As soon as they get possession of the ball, Joe, become very expansive. The understanding between Swift and Jed Wallace, to be fair, I'd love to have played with Jed Wallace. End product all the time, balls coming in, that little weighted ball for Asante there, he had to get on the end of that one, just get a touch, be aware of the quality of the player.
Solis shoots for Norwich and it's pushed away by the goalkeeper to his right hand side. A good stop by Alex Palmer as Norwich won it back high up the field of play, and Christos Solis, who's only scored one league goal in his Norwich career, with a rasping drive, and Palmer tips it behind. It's a Norwich throw deep inside opposition territory. Norwich playing from right to left.
Well, it's excellent play from Solis there as well, struck it well. Asked that question of Palmer. I've got to say, West Brom, can you go out and try and influence that, make some sort of contact, because you kept on backing off. As soon as you go into the box, he's within shooting range and he took the chance on.
Goalkeeper Gunn has the ball for Norwich. We've had 2.5 minutes of play. West Brom 0, Norwich 0 in the Championship, live on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. We are the only place you can hear national radio commentary of the remaining games up and down the divisions, and next weekend we'll bring you all of the top commentaries, all of the goals as they go in. We'll go where the story goes next weekend in Leagues 1 and 2, and indeed in the Championship as well, on the bank holiday Monday the 8th of May, the final day of the Championship season. Still to come, Wigan relegated earlier today. In League 1, Plymouth and Ipswich both promoted. In League 2, Stevenage are up, and Hartlepool have been relegated out of the Football League. Opportunity for Josh Sargent to run down the right hand side, the far side for Norwich. He's blocked off by Eric Peters, the former Stoke defender, and Connor Townsend has the ball for a throw on the far side in front of that tall single-tiered East stand.
He's come in and done very well, Eric Peters, I have to say. I think, that left centre back, what I remember, that up and down on that left side, end product, balls coming in the box, but obviously that mobility. He's asked a few questions. He just goes in very, very composed in possession of the ball, can go win his aerial duels. Fantastic acquisition.
You can see David Wagner, the Norwich boss, on the edge of his technical area. Norwich 1 win in 9. Here's an opportunity for Wallace to drive forward inside right channel for West Brom, who've lost back-to-back matches at just the wrong time in the season. Beaten at Sheffield United in midweek as the Blades clinched their promotion back to the Premier League, and before that there was a 2-1 defeat here at home to Sunderland. And Sunderland, who after today's results are just 2 points off the top 6. It had all been going well for West Brom, so well for them last Sunday. They were a goal to the good, but Sunderland came back to win that by 2-1. Generally, West Brom have been very good at the Hawthorns this season. Norwich have been better away from home than at Carrow Road. Solid striding forward up the middle, plays an early ball to Sargent, who takes it down beautifully inside the penalty area. Oh, and he's rolled it wide. He wrong-footed the goalkeeper Palmer. Fantastic couple of touches from Sargent to glide into the box, away from 2 defenders, and then he steered it wide of Alex Palmer's left-hand post. It's still 0-0. Massive let-off for West Brom.
Well, it's an excellent break, isn't it? How they advanced. Solis, what a pass that into Sargent as well. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. I thought he would have opened up on his right and just got the shot away. He's took it through. Is it a little Cruyff? Like went in between 2 defenders there. Excellent bit of individual skill. And then Palmer's actually went. He's went to his right, and he's given him the eyes. If he hits the target, it's in the back of the net, and what a goal. That would have been massive opportunity, Joe.
Well, he probably should have scored. In the Premier League earlier today, Crystal Palace 4, West Ham 3 was live on Talksport. Brentford 2, Nottingham Forest 1, and Brighton 6, Wolves 0. All final scores from the Premier League. West Bromwich Albion 0, Norwich City 0 here. Quite a few late arrivals in the home sections of the ground. Omobamidele can't head the ball away from the right-hand edge of the Norwich box. It's blocked. It's come to the live wire. Brandon Thomas Asante, who tries to keep it in play down by the dead ball line, but Sam Byram, who has had a terrible time with injuries in the last few years, it really has blighted his career at Norwich City, has come across to shepherd the ball out of play for a Norwich goal kick. Norwich have Teemu Pukki on the bench. Of course, he will leave the club in the summer. Likewise, Jake Livermore of West Brom, who is among their subs today. The ball is midway inside the Norwich half. Taking up possession for West Brom is Swift. Back to Wallace on the halfway line. Wallace driving from a central position out to the right. He plays it on the angle to Furlong. Furlong infield, gives it away to Sørensen. And Sørensen, the 25-year-old Dane, will hold on to possession. Actually draws the foul from Swift. And the referee, Robert Madley, says free kick to Norwich midway inside their own half the field. If you're a Norwich player, 6 points adrift, Chris, with 2 games to go, do you realistically believe it's possible?
Well, you have to. I think there you see with the quality that they've got, that could be in the back of the net. It's 1-0, and it's about scoring goals. I think goal difference, the mathematics all plays a part, and that's why we've always said when we do a commentary, that big defeat or that big one.
Great ball through to Thomas Asante, clear on goal for West Brom. Good save by Gunn. Gunn stood up well, and to deny Thomas Asante with his chest. And both central strikers have missed great opportunities in the first 7 minutes. Lovely threaded pass by John Swift through the middle. Brandon Thomas Asante, quick as a flash, was onto it. He was onside, but he could only fire it into the chest of the onrushing goalkeeper.
I don't think he needs to take that touch. You know, it's an excellent weighted ball from Swift. That's got to be in the back of the net. He's lifted it up at a good height for the goalkeeper as well. Angus Gunn coming out, made himself big, hits it into the chest. Why not play it along the floor? You know, he took an extra touch and put himself under more pressure, shortened that distance. The weight of pass from Swift was excellent in itself. Come on to that, know where the goal is, you're on the 18-yard line, pick your spot. Makes it very difficult for the goalkeeper.
Two sides going with a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, both going all out to win the game, because of course they have to win the game or it's season over. And a very open start to proceedings here at the Hawthorns on Talksport 2. A little bit of drizzle back in the sky, very cloudy here at West Brom, and back it goes to goalkeeper Gunn for Norwich, all in black. That was a big save from the goalkeeper, who's really made the number one spot his own. He's kept the veteran Tim Krul on the bench, and here is Sørensen for Norwich, just meandering forward over the halfway line, out wide to the overlapping Max Aarons on the far side, the Norwich right, checks back in field to Sørensen once more. Sørensen goes cross-field, calling for it was Giannoulis. Giannoulis controls in his chest, the orange boots on, the Greek looks up, swings in a deep cross, and it's headed wide by Sargent, coming in at the far post. Peters let it go straight over his head, goalkeeper and defender leaving it for each other, and I have to say, neither defence on top at the moment. Both teams look likely to score every time they come forward. Somehow it's still 0-0.
Yeah, I think it's Giannoulis, excellent ball. So he's left his foot there. I'm thinking, is it a bit deep? Josh Sargent, he tries to make everything, doesn't he? He's attacked it well. I'm expecting Palmer to come out and just claim that. Or if anything, if in doubt, put something on it. Eric Peters has no clue where Josh Sargent is there. He's got his head to it. On another day, if he hits the target, he's definitely asking a question or just steering it back into the danger area. But he always tries to make the ball, no matter if it's a bad one.
Huge EFL games to come, live on Talksport 2 in the next couple of days. Your Sunday lunch will take you to Huddersfield against Cardiff on Talksport 2, that game being played in South Wales. Huddersfield have 2 games in hand on Reading, who occupy that final relegation place. And then on Monday lunchtime, Rotherham against Middlesbrough. Rotherham not safe yet, though they would make sure of survival with a victory against Middlesbrough. That's on Monday on Talksport 2, and then Premier League games back to back virtually on Talksport every day of the week almost next week. Leicester against Everton on Monday night, Arsenal against Chelsea on Tuesday, Manchester City against West Ham on Wednesday, Brighton against Manchester United on Thursday. So all of the live football, all of the time on the Talksport network, the big games. Wallace going for goal from range, and it's just a couple of yards wide that. He was fully 40 yards out, and goalkeeper Gunn, well, he was very confident it was going to be drilled wide because he didn't make a play to even throw himself to his right at all. The goalkeeper didn't dive, was pretty statuesque. He must have thought he had it covered, but again, looking at it on the monitor, Chris, it was very, very close.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than what I think Gunn thought it would be. You know, I think he knew exactly where he was in his goal. He did have a few comments to the defenders in front of him afterwards because it's too easy. You know, we've got to get in the face of Wallace there and stop that shot from coming in. But again, lucky one, another opportunity.
Both teams have got to win tonight, remember. A draw is not enough. Here is Connor Townsend for West Brom, ever present in the league so far this season, on the halfway line, the left back. Turns and feeds Peters, the defender. Peters, who was brought to the club by Steve Bruce late on in his ultimately ill-fated reign. Remember when Carlos Corberán took charge of West Brom, they were in the relegation zone. And they still have hope of making the top 6. Ball in field by Townsend, and Thomas Asante, great dummy into the feet of Swift. Swift on now to the corner of the penalty area, right hand edge of it, and Wallace takes up possession. Wallace driving in field, across to Townsend. Townsend looks up, floats in a delivery. Goalkeeper stays at home, and Swift got his head to it, but no real power behind it under pressure from Sam Byram, and it was an easy gather for Angus Gunn. We've had nearly 12 minutes. West Brom 0, Norwich 0 on Talksport 2. Here's the former Wolves striker, Chris O'Elliman.
Well, again, excellent play again. You know, I think it's just the way that they kind of build up and play through the thirds. It's exactly what Carlos Corberán wants from his team. End product as well. Great ball in from Townsend. And you know what? I don't think it's a bad ball. I think Swift was hanging in there for quite some time. Couldn't generate that power. Steered it goalwards, and it was an easy one for Angus Gunn to come out and collect. But again, another opportunity. Fantastic ball going in. Bodies gambling, getting on the end of it in the box. Just the execution wasn't great.
Well, you and I have seen a few thrillers this season, Chris, in the Championship and the Premier League, and even though there haven't been any goals yet, it looks like this could also be an evening to remember, but I wonder for which side. Sara, the Brazilian, in the middle of midfield for Norwich, out wide to the right, Max Aarons driving forward, corner of the penalty area, dinks in a cross, headed away by Peters through a crowd, hooked downfield by Swift for West Brom, taken up by Byram for Norwich. He's about 10 yards into West Brom territory, right in front of the West Brom dugout actually, and Carlos Corberán issuing instructions from the near side touchline. Sørensen has it now in the middle of midfield and lays it square to his right, and Omar Bamidele. Now Sørensen once again is comfortable at centre half and in central midfield. Great long ball down the middle. Giannoulis has almost taken that down, just couldn't quite control it out of the air after completely getting away from that attempt at playing the offside trap from West Brom. He split the defence with that pass, that raking long ball did Sørensen, but Giannoulis couldn't get it under control and it went through to Palmer.
Well, it's excellent from Giannoulis. Even better ball from Sørensen. Has to take it down there, isn't he? He's timed it perfectly. It's an excellent weighted pass, and then, like you say, if the touch is better, he's getting an opportunity to go. And these are the moments when it's end to end the way that it is, and I guess you're using the ball as well as you are. Has to take the chance when you're on top. You know, I think when the chance presents itself, you know, this fantastic run, great ball, but again, just that little bit of quality in attacking third is letting them down.
Here's Aarons in the right back position, far side of the field for Norwich as we look at it. We're playing towards the Birmingham Road end in the first half, way to the right, the Smethwick end, which is where 1,700 Canaries fans are located. Always a very well supported club, just like West Brom are Norwich City. As Sargent looks to tear down this left hand side, but Shemi Ajayi, the big defender, gets across. He's really forced his way back into the side over recent weeks as Shemi Ajayi. They have got some big injury issues, West Brom, and so too have Norwich, which you could argue has played a part in both teams really finding it difficult to make the top six now in these last few days of the season, but it is still possible. Here is Solis for Norwich. He looks lively early on. Both teams look really lively on the attack. Marquinhos on the Norwich right, infield with his left foot to find Sara. Further wide is Aarons. Aarons controls, level the edge of the 18-yard box, taking on both Grant and Townsend. Marquinhos, the Arsenal loanee, back to Sara, flicks it up the middle towards Gibbs. Gibbs is down by the dead ball line, facing away from goal. Now a chance for Aarons to play it infield to Sara again. Reverse ball looking for Marquinhos. It's cleared away by Jason Malumbi with the red boots on for West Brom. And now Thomas Asante looking to sprint clear on the counter. Feeds Wallace. Oh, he's hauled down there. Wallace by a retreating Byram. That's got to be a yellow card at the very least. Byram is going to be called over here by Robert Madley. It was a cynical foul, and I have to say he's lucky there, Sam Byram. It is just going to be a yellow card. He's lucky though that wasn't maybe 10-15 yards closer to the goal, Chris.
Yeah, he'd have seen red if it was. I've got to say Angus Gunn was coming out to kind of sweep up the danger. He's taken a big touch. It's a reckless challenge, isn't it? You're thinking, what are you doing, Byram there? You know, he's got no chance. If anything, he can see it all happening in front of him. He's got to arc his body and run down the line, and he's doing his job defensively there. He's taking a silly yellow there.
It's West Brom 0, Norwich 0. Chances at both ends early on, but a West Brom free kick about 15 yards into Norwich territory. Far side, the left as we look at it. John Swift to whip it in, high right-footed deep towards Furlong at the far post, and he won the initial header. It took a deflection though of the flame-haired Sargent, and it goes through to goalkeeper Gunn, who is from footballing and goalkeeping royalty as far as Norwich City is concerned, the son of Brian Gunn. Angus, former Manchester City goalkeeper. Here is Omar Bamidele. Square ball out to the near side, the left, and Byram on the corner of that 18-yard box. Arguably Norwich's two first choice centre-halves, Ben Gibson and Grant Hanley, both out injured. Teemu Pukki only on the bench, and that is probably understandable because he's not going to be part of the setup at Carrow Road next season. I'm sure he'll get a fine farewell, if not tonight, on the final day. Aarons looks up for Norwich. Norwich having the better of it at the moment. They're dominating possession in the last few minutes or so, but neither team can find a route to goal just yet. But both have had big chances. Sørensen, 40 yards out, dead centre. Sargent's layoff is a poor one, intercepted by Townsend. Good quick feet to skip away from a couple of yellow shirts, and he'll roll it back to Palmer. Here's Chris Owen.
Really impressed with Norwich with the ball, I have to say. I think West Brom, when Angus Gunn has the ball, West Brom are playing really high, but Norwich, they still get the ball off the goalkeeper around about the 18-yard box and just play through. They've got options all the time, excellent movement, and then it just breaks down in that attacking third round about the 18-yard line. You know, they do try some like, obviously intricate movement. The imagination is there definitely in the passing, but just that quality just needs to be lifted. But been really impressed in the defensive and middle third.
Well, plenty of football still to be played, although not long left in the Championship season, and it's win or bust tonight for both West Brom and Norwich. A draw will not do. Here is Grant driving infield from the left-hand side, clips in a high deep cross deep to the far post. It's well controlled by Wallace, took it down beautifully and wins a corner off Yanulis. Some really good football from both teams in the game so far. You can see really, Chris, can't you, that both teams know that they've simply got to go for it.
Yeah, they have to. Now they're taking probably necessary risks. You know, I think throwing men forwards. They are excellent ball from Grant to Jed Wallace. He's excellent first touch again, just end product. Can he find it? Even put it across first time. You know, he's got bodies gambling to try and get on the end of it if it does come in.
Corner whipped in by Swift and flicked on at the edge of the 6-yard line, and it's going to drift away towards the far side, the left. It was Furlong getting up for West Brom, who still have possession now with Wallace. He's midway inside the Norwich half, steers it about 20 yards to his right, and Swift dinks in a lovely right-footed cross, headed up into the air by Omar Bamidele, getting above Brandon Thomas Asante, who joined West Brom in August after a blistering start to the season at League 2 Salford City, and he just gives them that pace and that mobility up front that maybe they'd been lacking before he joined. And I tell you what, he can do the physical side as well, Chris.
Yeah, he can do it all. He ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? You know, I think his movement, the one thing, if I'm going to be overly critical, 5-6 chances, he needs to get that goal. You know, already the opportunity that he's received today, fantastic service that he's getting, wait a pass from Swift, that has to be in the back of the net. Clinical, and he's going to have moments where he's just on form, everything is going in the back of the net, just consistency, because he's going to get chances in this West Brom side.
A long ball upfield by Gunn, the goalkeeper, chested down neatly by Sargent and scooped over the halfway line by the lob pass of Solis for Liam Gibbs to chase, and out of play it goes via the shins of Gibbs, and Ajayi did just enough coming across there down by the West Brom corner flag, and a throw in between the Birmingham Road end and the East Stand. There's a wedge of seats occupied by West Brom supporters in the corner. The stadium is mostly full. Liam Gibbs, a Norwich player formerly of Ipswich, who've been promoted back to the Championship today after a 6-0 win over Exeter. Plymouth have got the job done as well in that division, so Plymouth will be playing second-tier football next season as well. The League One promotion race has really been just as enthralling as what we've seen in the Championship, and in League 2 as well. Stevenage promoted today. Congratulations to Steve Evans and co. But it's disappointment for Hartlepool, who've been relegated out of the EFL, and for Wigan, who will be back in League 1 next season. Wigan very much a yo-yo club, and Norwich can sympathise with that in terms of how they've performed over many of the recent seasons, jostling in between the Premier League and the Championship. Here is Yanulis for them. Left back position, forward to Marquinhos. Marquinhos floats a high ball up the inside left channel, headed away by Shemi Ajayi, with Sargent closing in on him. It was a floated pass by Marquinhos. Good work by Ajayi, looked very composed. Now Yakushlu bursting forward, tripped by Sørensen, and the referee was in a good position to see that, and it's a free kick to West Brom. Well, really, Chris, the 21 and a half minutes have absolutely flown by.
Yeah, it has. You know, you say it's excellent for the neutral, isn't it? And you're sitting here, end-to-end football, you know, keeping the ball very well without the ball. Like you say, I think because they are taking risks in the game to try and get that goal, that both teams are kind of capitalising and picking the holes, but they have that quality to get in the attacking third. But we want to see clear-cut chances. The Josh Sargent one, you said he should have done better after Palmer's probably overcommitted and dived. He should have put it into the bottom right-hand corner. And obviously with the Thomas Asante chance, another great opportunity, and then the Swift header as well. So there has been moments, we just need more.
Every kick of the final day of the Championship season live next weekend on the Talksport network. We'll have 2 live commentary matches for you here on Talksport 2 and another over on Talksport, with goals as they go in provided to you on both stations, so you'll be able to listen to your game of choice and get all the very latest at the same time. A League 2 final day earlier on that afternoon, and League 1 final day on Saturday the 7th, and again similarly full and comprehensive coverage on the network. Here is Connor Townsend for West Brom, just shy of the halfway line. Lovely little flick by Thomas Asante, first time touched by Swift. Back it goes to Grant, who pings a high diagonal cross field. It's hooked away by Yanulis on the volley for Norwich from the left back position. 0-0 midway through the first half. Malumbi driving forward, nudges it wide to Wallace. Wallace drives in an early cross, blocked off initially by Solis. Comes back to Jed Wallace though, infield to Yakushlu, nudges it back out wide to Wallace again. His cross turned away by Yanulis, and it's a throw to West Brom. And the ebb and flow of the game, Chris, as both sides know they need to win and both are having good attacking spells.
Now, like you say, West Brom are moving the ball very, very quickly, getting into good positions. Jed Wallace there, ball's coming in the box, but I've got to say, Norwich defensively sound. Yanulis the second time, Byram the first, making sure they're making that first contact. If anything, can Yanulis get a little bit closer to Jed Wallace? That seems to be the outlet pass more often than not.
West Brom win tonight would take them 8th in the Championship table, and they'd be 2 points adrift of the top 6 going into the final day. Long throw from the near side by Furlong, hurling it into the penalty area, headed away not once but twice by Norwich City. Gibbs got the second header. It's still alive in the penalty area though for Grant, driven away by Sørensen, not entirely convincingly, but at the second attempt he finds Sargent, who'll lay it back to Yanulis on the edge of the Norwich penalty area. And good composure by Yanulis to come inside and get away from Swift. And Norwich, in their yellow and green, have comfortable possession along the edge of their back line. It was a thumping defeat at home to Swansea for the 10 men of Norwich City last weekend, and David Wagner described that defeat as very painful. It's a young team, a team hit by injury. I'm sure they'll learn from that, but the Championship is so ruthless, Chris, that they've not got time to learn from it. They've just got to go and get the job done.
Well, that's it. You know, I think just from obviously having those moments, you do learn from experience, and they're getting the minutes in the legs. Very young squad, but you look at it as well, you've already commented a couple of times, you know, this composed, you know, when usually a defender would just get the ball, hit it forward and try and then get up, keeps it composed no matter how tightly he's marshalled, and that's the way that they play, that's the way that Wagner wants them to play. And having these young players getting these minutes, I think it's only going to be beneficial for Norwich in the future.
Solis infield from the left hand side, and it's let run by Sargent to Gibbs. Sargent gets it back edge of the penalty area, trying to play it left to the feet of Solis. It's still come towards the Greek player, who goes down initially under the challenge of Ajayi, and then Sara throws himself to ground right in front of the referee. That looked a cynical dive to me. The referee allows play to continue despite waving away the appeals.
Well, Ajayi had 2 stabs at it with Sargent and then with Sara as well there. I think there was contact with the ball, but you know, very, very minimal contact, and the referee was perfectly positioned as well, and flinged it away, waved it away straight away.
Here is Gibbs, looking very lively, the young man, 20 years of age, on the halfway line. Sørensen with the long-sleeved yellow shirt on. Back it goes to Omobamidele, the captain of Norwich City tonight. Aarons angles the ball out to the right. Hugging the touchline is Marquinhos, and now it's Norwich's turn to enjoy some good possession. 26 played. Both sides looking very dynamic going forward. A lovely flick by Giannoulis, and Solis can't keep it in play down the near side, the left. And it's great to watch, isn't it, Chris, when there really is something at stake for both, and you can see that the shackles are off, aren't they, really?
Yeah, playing with freedom. I think, especially down this left-hand side for Norwich, great energy. There's an understanding there as well. Giannoulis, Solis, they're linking up very, very well, and they've always got that outlet in Sargent who will chase everything. But I've been really impressed with both teams in possession, and we understand that, yeah, they are going to leave holes. They are going to try and create overloads in those attacking areas. So, again, who's going to capitalise on that?
Tottenham women won, Brighton women won, a latest score in the Women's Super League. An important game in the relegation battle in that division. Here is Swift for West Brom, wriggles away from two in yellow. Midway inside the Norwich half, he's got to play it square to the right in Malumbi. Malumbi feeds it forward, and it was well read by Giannoulis, who got there easily in front of Darnell Furlong. And now Norwich looking dangerous on the break again. Giannoulis chips it to his right. It's a great run by Gibbs from a deep lying position. Now Gibbs is live with the edge of the 18-yard box, but his touch was heavy running onto it. Good work by Townsend coming across, and Chris, you're applauding that defending from Townsend.
Well, Gibbs, he knew exactly what Connor Townsend knew exactly what Gibbs was going to do there. He's tried to give the little dummy that he's going to cut back, and Connor Townsend just got body between man and ball and ushered it out. Fantastic defending. But again, you look at Giannoulis, he timely the ball from Malumbi forward, he's intercepted it straight away. He's driving at the West Brom midfield that are all out of position, and I think he could have released Josh Sargent when he's coming across the halfway line. He made an excellent run.
Here is Giannoulis for Norwich again, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. The Premier League earlier today, wins for Crystal Palace, for Brentford and Brighton, 6-0 against Wolves. More Premier League football tomorrow. Talksport will keep you up to date with all of the goals as they go in. Here is Gibbs for Norwich. He's 10 yards shy of the edge of the penalty area. Crossfield floated from right to left to find Giannoulis. West Brom with plenty of dark blue and white striped shirts behind the ball. Sørensen has it, tip of the centre circle. Now square to his right, and Omar Bamidele, who steps into his own half. He rolls it back to goalkeeper Gunn. And Norwich, who have a better record away from Carrow Road than they do at home. 33 points they've picked up on their travels compared to 29 in front of their own fans, and the home form has been a problem for them this season. Here is Sargent controlling well, taking it in his stride on the halfway line, turning away from Malumbi and threading a pass out to the left wing, the near side, and Solis. The West Brom fans wanted an offside flag. It isn't forthcoming. Sara corner the penalty area, gets to the dead ball line, dinks in the cross, headed away by Ajayi. Easy header that really for Ajayi. And now West Brom on the break. Wallace driving forward, up over the halfway line. Only Byram between him and the goal. Wallace's touch was heavy. That allows Byram. On a yellow cards, there might have been a flicker of nerves for Byram there to just slide in, knock it out of play. 29 minutes gone, thoroughly entertaining, but still no goals in the game that both have to win. West Brom 0, Norwich 0.
Well, I've just got to say, I'm looking at that there as Jed Wallace is breaking away. It's an excellent little kind of touch from Swift to put Wallace through. Thomas Asante needs to be stretched in the pitch. Can he be an outlet so that Jed Wallace has a little bit of support? He was on his own there. He tried to run Byram.
Here comes Swift looking to charge down the right. Can he get away from Giannoulis here? He's put it through the legs of Solis very cleverly. And now Malumbi laying it square to Townsend, edge of the D. Curler! And Townsend will curl that wide by a sizable deflection off the sliding Marquinhos. And that is a corner for West Brom in front of the Smethwick end, which is where the Norwich fans are housed. It's split between home and away supporters. 0-0 in the EFL Live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the UK's number one lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Now then, Jed Wallace is standing over the ball. Norwich have brought everybody back, and West Brom have almost sent everybody forward. Bar Peters whipped in by Wallace, high to the far post. It came off the head of Sørensen. Now did Gunn prevent the corner? The goalkeeper, he did. He got to it first before it went over the line.
Not a bad ball. I've got to say, I think coming in, attacked well. Norwich were defensively sound, and Angus Gunn alive to it, kept it in. If he doesn't do what he does, they're having to defend another corner. And this is what I love, they're playing out no matter how many bodies West Brom have, trying to stop. Hey, look, it's excellent from Norwich.
Good run by Gibbs up the left-hand channel, full of pace and purpose and energy. Then he's won a throw. just in front of the West Brom dugout here on the Halfords Lane side of the stadium. West Brom have won it back on the halfway line though, and Swift exchanging passes with Thomas Asante. Swift pokes it to the right, and Thomas Asante again, edge of the area, curling it high, left-footed into the front row of the away end. But you can hear the appreciation of the West Brom fans. That was a really fleet-footed counter-attack. Swift, Wallace and Brandon Thomas Asante all combining, but the striker couldn't keep his shot on target.
Yeah, I think got a little bit excited there. Had the sight of goal. I think he's got to take it in. Like you say, excellent build-up play with the three players, Wallace and Swift and Asante. When he got it, I think he's got to run it Byram. You've got to take him on there. Can he just get in the box and then straight away? But it's a wonder strike if he puts that in the top left-hand corner, which he tried to do there.
The referee's given a free kick here to West Brom. They'll have a player down just inside opposition territory. I think it was Peters who was caught off the ball, and Peters is helped to his feet by his teammate John Swift. And free kick to West Brom just inside Norwich territory, left of centre, so towards the far side as we look at it. And it's the Turkish midfielder Yakuşlu, who's got a bit of strapping on his left wrist, who is on the ball. The likes of Dara O'Shea, Daryl DK, Grady Diangana, Matt Phillips and others unavailable for the rest of the season for West Brom, and Norwich likewise have several key players out injured. Omobamidele hooks it over his shoulder and up to the halfway line. Yakuşlu wins the header, and now here's Wallace on halfway. Reverse pass towards Swift, and back now to Wallace via the boot of Yakuşlu, sliding in with Omobamidele. Great tackle. West Brom throw, live with the edge of the penalty area, and again they take it quickly. They want to move the ball speedily here to Carlos Corberan's team, Chris.
Yeah, they're stopping Norwich from getting set up. I think fantastic defensive challenge from Omobamidele there. I think he's timed it perfectly with Jed Wallace. But again, up into position, organising, talking, which is something I've been impressed with as well. The two centre backs communicating all the time, always being an option when the full backs get it. And like you say, playing out again, it's something that Wagner is put into them. They conceded a few goals, individual errors. Tim Krul's probably been the fall guy for that one, and lost his place from the goals they've conceded from it. But it's a demand that Wagner puts on his players.
Well, he had great success, didn't he, in the Championship with Huddersfield, leading them to promotion to the Premier League in 2017, and he kept them up the following season too, so he has a proven pedigree. Here is Malumbi though for West Brom. He's got away down the right hand side, away from Byram, gets the dead ball line. Byram got back as Malumbi drove in the cross, and it ricocheted off the heels of Byram, and out of play for a corner to West Brom on the near side there right.
Great bit of skill from Malumbi as well. He just allowed Byram to get back into position. He's got his head up, he's looking, fire the ball across. That ball between the last defender and goalkeeper is always the most dangerous, especially when you've got players bombing in there.
Swift's corner, right footed out, swinging up to the edge of the 6-yard box, thumping header, brilliant save. Shemi Ajayi rising highest, and it was parried away by Gunn, and West Brom have another corner, still 0-0.
Well, Shemi Ajayi's done everything right. He's up, he's got power on it, probably straight at Gunn there. I think it's an easier one for the goalkeeper. Either side of Gunn, that's in the back of the net, because the pace on the ball was excellent.
Another corner by Swift. Again, it's high to the far post this time, where Furlong was waiting to nod the ball down initially. Hooked away by Marquinhos to the relative safety of halfway. Angus Gunn has had to make two good saves. You're right, Chris. The one early on from Thomas Asante was probably the better one, but it remains 0-0, and that is so crucial in a game that both teams know they have to win if they're to have any chance of making the playoffs at the end of the season. This is just the time of the season that we thoroughly enjoy on the Talksport network, the closing stages. It all comes down to this, and it's all live with us. Here is Sarah on the halfway line, out to the right, and Aarons for Norwich, who scampers beyond Townsend. Here comes Eric Peters after a heavy touch by Aarons to chip it up to the chest of Townsend, who juggles it cleverly over the head of two Norwich players, and now Swift from the halfway line can't thread it on to Thomas Asante. Some very enterprising football from both teams. Exciting attacking play. It's chipped high down the West Brom left towards Swift, but Omobamidele gets there first and manages to find Marquinhos, who swiftly shimmied inside away from Swift and was caught. And that'll be a free kick to Norwich. Good work from the 20-year-old Brazilian Marquinhos.
Well, it's excellent bit of skill, isn't it, Marquinhos? That's in his defensive third. He's brought it back, put it through the legs of Swift, gets a little contact, soft one, but it definitely is a free kick. But I think you're right. I think both teams will take a lot of confidence from some of the passages of play that they've had, some of the areas that they've got into, and probably be a little bit disappointed in themselves that they haven't had the rewards for it, but they have to keep going. You know, it's relentless at the minute. But who's going to be brave enough? Who's going to have that composure in the attacking third to take that opportunity?
Norwich starting the evening 6 adrift of the playoffs. West Brom a point better off, both with 2 games to go, including today. Commentary from the Cardiff City Stadium tomorrow, with Huddersfield the visitors. A huge game for Huddersfield in their fight against relegation, and victory would be absolutely massive for them, and they would still have a game in hand on Reading, who occupy 22nd position in the Championship on Monday. Rotherham not out of relegation danger just yet against Middlesbrough, who we know will be in the playoffs. That's on Talksport 2. And Premier League football almost every day of the week next week on Talksport. Leicester against Everton is a massive game on Monday night. Arsenal against Chelsea on Tuesday. Manchester City against West Ham on Wednesday, as well as Liverpool against Fulham that night on Talksport 2. And on Thursday, Brighton will play Manchester United. So much exciting live football to come, and of course got all the various cup finals and Premier League's conclusion as well. Here is Furlong driving up the inside right channel for West Brom and playing a low ball into the near post, turned by Malumbi, almost a pirouette to send it into the path of Thomas Asante, who was blocked off, and Norwich clear only as far as Ajayi. 35 yards out, pushes it on towards Wallace, crosses in low, Malumbi! Great block, comes out to the edge of the box, and Grant was waiting, couldn't get his shot away. Malumbi's first time effort was turned away, and now Wallace crossing again, Malumbi there again, couldn't quite reach it this time. 2 big chances again for West Brom. Now Swift has got it. Down by the corner flag on the left wing position, the far side. It's still 0-0. Whipped in high by Townsend. Furlong's at the far post. Looping header. Norwich struggling to clear. Byram gets it away. It's come to Townsend again. West Brom still coming forward on the attack. Header away. Diving header by Yanulis. Up to the midway point of his own half. Norwich survive once more, but I wonder for how much longer, Chris Uwelema.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to come, isn't it? Fantastic energy from Malumbi just to be in there. Jed Wallace again, end product. The first one's cut back. It's going into the bottom left hand corner. It's a great connection from Malumbi. I've got to say, excellent defending from Omar Bamidele there. He's got his foot, just had the block in, but again, relentless. West Brom picking up second balls, keeping it alive. That outlet on the right hand side from Wallace all the time. This time it's just fired across, and Malumbi, he has to make some sort of contact, but misses it. He gets a contact on there, that has to be in the back of the net, because it's about 3 yards away from Angus Gunn there. But excellent pressure from West Brom there, and fantastic defending from Norwich to get that initial block in.
You're absolutely right, because Omar Bamidele, I think, was going the wrong way initially. Had to twist his body, stick out a leg to make that all-important block. Otherwise Malumbi was going to roll that into the bottom corner. The man who scored 2 relatively recent goals in a win at Stoke City, Jason Malumbi, doesn't tend to score all that many. He's more a defensive midfield player, but West Brom with a better chance of securing the top 6, you feel, than Norwich, although of course it's still on potentially for both sides, but both know that they must win their final 2 games, including tonight. There's a throw for West Brom now on the halfway line. Well, David Wagner was pretty vocal, I think, Chris, wasn't he, about how much that defeat to Swansea hurt him last weekend. His side haven't responded too badly, but they have looked vulnerable at the back.
Yeah, they have, and it's understandable, you know, with the players and the leaders that are missing, but no excuse. You know, I think you look at the defenders they've got, game time, you know, that experience is definitely lacking, but you know what, very, very capable. But he had a reaction, it's not been bad, but what I've seen today is a team that's definitely got the belief that they can still achieve something.
Sara from the centre circle, nudging it to the left, and Yanulis, he's got lots of space to drive into, inside left channel, now manoeuvring into a central position, lays it square to Sargent, rifles it into the near post, and Norwich lead. Would you believe it? On a night where both teams have to win, it's the Canaries who draw first blood. And Josh Sargent, clinical with the finish, drove it under the goalkeeper. And Norwich, well, maybe they still have hope of reaching the Championship's top 6 after all. West Brom 0, Norwich 1.
Well, it's an excellent goal, isn't it? Again, the passes that I've seen him play, he sees it. So, just cutting the defence there apart. Excellent first touch from Sargent. Knows exactly where the goal is and just makes sure, low and hard, what the goalkeeper, and it's under the legs of Alex Palmer there. But it's a fantastic ball from Julius to find Josh Sargent. Great first touch, just to open the goal up. He can pick his spot, but he wants the keeper. Make sure he hit the target there, and he's put the laces through. It's an excellent finish. It's a difficult one as well, but I think Alex Palmer will be disappointed that he's beaten at his near post there. He's went, he can go so far, hit the legs. He's got to do better there for me, Alex Palmer. Joe, wait until you see it. If you see it on the monitor, he goes with the feet, and it's always difficult, but that's what they work at. He's got to get a better connection with the foot there to steer that wide. But Josh Sargent with an excellent goal.
West Brom 0, Norwich 1. 42 minutes played on Talksport 2. Bit of an exodus from the West Brom fans heading to the concourses ahead of half-time. The rain has stopped for those in the very front rows. So Norwich would move 3 points adrift of the top 6. Blackburn have got a game in hand, but even if Blackburn were to win that, Norwich would still be in contention, though they'd need to win on the final day and have other results go their way. And that is, you feel, unlikely. In fact, if Blackburn were to win their game in hand, Norwich wouldn't be able to secure a top 6 spot, because Millwall and Blackburn, who would both be on 68 points, play each other on the final day. So there's all sorts of mathematics in it for Norwich City, but they're doing all they can, and as it stands, it's season over for West Bromwich Albion. West Brom 0, Norwich 1. Here is Townsend on the halfway line for West Brom, and that really has taken the energy out of the crowd here at the Hawthorns, and all the momentum with Norwich City, Chris Orland.
Yeah, well, that's the instruction, isn't it? If you can get take that opportunity, put West Brom on the back foot, the fans make it very difficult.
Jed Wallace tearing down the right, very early cross, chested down by Carlin Grant. He's trying to force his way through on the edge of the penalty area. Thomas Asante took a swing at it, and then there's a foul on Grant, a late challenge by Yanulis, and Norwich are furious. There are 5 or 6 players going towards the referee, but at the end of it all, there'll be a free kick in shooting range for West Brom.
Yeah, I think the referee's got this completely wrong. I think it's a bit naughty from Carlin Grant on Janulis there. Wait till you see it on the monitor. This one there, when it's up there, he knows exactly what he's doing. Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll take my words back there. It's a genuine. Both players are genuinely going for it. Janulis gets there first and then kicks the bottom. He kicks the bottom of the studs of Carlin Grant, and trust me, that's a very sore one as well. So I can understand why Janulis is straight away getting up there, having a chat with the referee. But it was a genuine attempt. Both of them were going for the ball fairly.
But if Yanulis gets there first, surely the free kick should be the other.
I agree, but it was one of them. Both made contact with the ball. The referee's probably unsighted because he's positioned behind Carlin Grant when he's looking at it. Carlin Grant went to ground, held the foot first, so the referee's got to make a judgment call.
Right on the edge of the penalty area, this free kick. Townsend and Swift are the two standing over it for West Brom, almost on the line of the 18-yard box. Right of centre, heavily right of centre, so it favours the left footer by some margin, you'd think, here. But we'll see. There are 4 men in the Norwich wall and 1 player lying behind that wall, trying to block any low shot that they might try to drill underneath the wall itself. Norwich with everybody back defending into 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. It's Norwich who lead at West Brom by a goal to 0. It'll be Connor Townsend to curl that one into the top corner. What a fantastic goal to draw West Bromwich Albion level right at the end of the first half. West Brom are level here. Game on, season potentially back on. They know they need to win, but they've got themselves level with a pearler of a free kick from Connor Townsend. West Brom 1, Norwich 1.
What a goal! What a goal! You called it. before he kicked the ball, it was in favour of a lefty there. He stepped up and put it right into the top left-hand corner. You know, you're looking at the position of Angus Gunn as well. He's more that side and he still can't get anywhere near it. Perfect. Struck it perfectly. And it's like you said, what a strike that is from the captain today.
Well, here we go. Drills and spills in the Championship as ever. We're going to have a cracking second half on Talksport 2. The first isn't over just yet, and it's 1-1. And West Brom have won it back, and I think they deserve that equaliser. Norwich get a free kick for handball. David Wagner will not be happy about the decision to award the free kick, but the Hawthorns is sounding with the noise of West Brom songs again, Chris.
And it's straight away, can they finish strong? Can they go and capitalise? You know, Norwich are in the time. Defending, isn't it? Semi-Jai is strong, aggressive with it.
Here come Norwich edge of the penalty area. Sørensen trying to drive into the box, well covered by Swift. Well, we've certainly had the minute of additional time at the end of the first half, and right on cue, Robert Madley blows the half-time whistle. All to play for, as is so often the case in the Championship, as certainly will be the case in terms of the playoff picture going into the final day. And for West Brom and Norwich, it's about making sure that they are involved in that scrap for the top six on the last day of the season. Both teams need to win. A really exciting game so far. Both sides have played some excellent attacking football, and both had great chances before Josh Sargent eventually rifled Norwich in front from the angle. Maybe goalkeeper Palmer could have done better for West Brom, but in first half stoppage time, Connor Townsend's controversially awarded free kick was dispatched into the top corner by the defender, and that means that at the break it is West Brom 1, Norwich 1. And the equation the same. Both teams have to win, or it's season over tonight. 1-1, so perfectly poised really for the second half, and West Brom are about to get us back underway. Neither side has made any changes. West Brom will play from right to left towards the Birmingham Road end, the traditional home end of the ground. West Brom in their dark blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and white socks, and Norwich playing from left to right towards the Smethwick end, which is split between home and away fans. Canary yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks. Off and away we go. The second half begins live on Talksport 2. An incredible day in the EFL, and the drama maybe not finished yet, as Angus Gunn hacks the ball clear high and long to the halfway line. Yakushlu brings it down, and the one thing of course that we know is that if it stays like this, both teams will not be able to make the playoffs come the end of the season. West Brom, Palmer in goal, Furlong, Ajayi, Peters on the ball now, and Townsend the goal scorer at left back. Yakushlu and Malumbi in the holding roles, with Wallace, Grant and Swift in support of Thomas Asante up front. And for Norwich City, the goalkeeper is Gunn, with Aarons, Omabamidele, Byram and Yanulis the defenders, as the ball is given away to Marquinhos, who couldn't find Sara, one of his midfield partners, with Sørensen in the middle, Liam Gibbs, Zolis and Sargent, the Norwich goal scorer, in their front three. I'll give you the benches in a moment as well, but Norwich have won it back in the centre circle here with the tenacity of Sara. Now Aarons in the right back position. It was a thrilling first half in many ways. Both teams perhaps understandably throwing caution to the wind, knowing that only a win will be good enough to keep their respective seasons going. We had plenty of clear-cut opportunities, and finally the two goals just before the break, Norwich taking the lead, but West Brom pegging them back. Here is Sørensen, midway inside his own half of the field. Norwich fans will be well aware that their great rivals Ipswich have won promotion to the Championship today after a 6-0 win against Exeter in League One. So if Norwich aren't promoted, then the Old Farm derby, as they sometimes call it, will be back next season. Ipswich against Norwich. Plymouth also promoted today in the Championship. Wigan have gone down after they could only manage a draw at Reading, who themselves are in huge trouble. And in League 2, Stevenage are up, but Hartlepool have been relegated out of the English Football League. Here is the Norwich goalkeeper Gunn, all in black. Square ball to Omabamidele, who hacks it forward high towards the halfway line, chested down by Townsend, who hit that free kick so sweetly with his left foot right at the end of the first half to equalise. We're high up in the Halfords Lane stand, very back row on the gantry, just to the left of the halfway line, closer to the end that West Brom are attacking. They've got a free kick now that is right in line with our position, midway inside the Norwich half. It's 1-1, 2.5 minutes into the second half, and here is the former Scotland striker, Chris Iwelumo.
Well, I have to say, I'm quite disappointed. I think both teams have come out being quite scrappy with it. No one's wanting the ball, no one's taking control of the game. It's like it's in the centre of the pitch where it's been excellent, great quality from both. It's a couple of passes and then all of a sudden losing possession, and that's on both sides as well. So one of them has to kind of take that lead, and just get the ball down, get that composure. The confidence that we've seen from both sets of players in the first half was excellent. So we need it to be lifted, and I'm sure both managers are trying to kind of instill that into the players themselves, and the fans will play a part.
Chris Iwelumo, who knows what it's like to win promotion in the EFL with the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers and Stoke City and Colchester United. Header from midway inside the Norwich half by the West Brom defender Townsend. It's knocked towards halfway, where Sargent will try and shuffle it forward up the near side, the right channel. One back though by West Brom, and here's Furlong out on the right, the halfway line as we look at it. Both head coaches standing on the edge of their technical areas. The rain has stopped, but the floodlights very much on. It's quite a vibrant ground, the Hawthorns. It's compact and all four corners are filled in, and when it gets rocking there is some atmosphere, and West Brom will need these supporters in the remaining minutes of the game. Norwich, of course, know that there's still a mathematical chance of the playoffs too. On the final day, West Brom are at Swansea, and Norwich at home to already relegated Blackpool. We'll have full commentary and coverage of the final day on both Talksport and Talksport 2 on Monday, May the 8th, Chris.
And Swansea's going strong as well. You think another 5-6 games more in this Champions season, they'd have a good shout of getting in those playoffs, I think, isn't it? It's just the form.
That's exactly what Russ Martin has been saying in recent weeks, and they're out of the playoff race now after they could only draw at Hull, but it's been a great recovery from them in the second half of the season. But they can't do it. They might have to look again next season. One of these two sides will be out of the running in about 40 minutes time. Here is Omar Bamidele for Norwich. He's midway inside his own half the field, just one win in 9 for Norwich and no win in 4. Their last victory was at Blackburn on the 7th of April, which had really put them in a very good position, but a slump since, and now maybe the playoffs is beyond them. Omar Bamidele will send it back to goalkeeper Gunn, and will clip the ball first time high right footed. That's a free, easy header for Townsend, nodded upfield towards Swift, who takes it down on his chest and turns, glides away from Aarons before being tripped by Omar Bamidele, and a free kick to West Brom. And you're right, Chris, the tempo isn't quite as high, and almost a low-key atmosphere in the stands as well. 1-1.
Well, I think the West Brom, it's down to them to get that kind of reaction from the fans, but there's definitely no way. It's like both teams are a little bit more cagey now, and it's disappointing. I understand the first half, that energy, that intensity can't last for the 90, but they went in, they've had that break. It's so important to go out and try and get a foothold now. And
Swift drives in a deep free kick over the head of the jumping Ajayi, and Jed Wallace won't keep it in play at the Birmingham Road end, and it's a goal kick away to our left for Norwich. Lots of action in the EFL coming up between now and the end of the regular season. Of course, we'll have all of the playoff matches for you on the network. We're the only place you can hear those games on national radio. But tomorrow lunchtime, Cardiff against Huddersfield, huge game for Huddersfield, who can really make Reading pay for their drop points today against Wigan, who've gone down. And then on Monday, Rotherham, not out of relegation danger, take on Middlesbrough, who we'll see again in the playoffs. And Premier League football on Talksport across next week as well, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Norwich on the attack with Sorensen driving up the middle, trying to play it left, but Wallace got back with an excellent block tackle. Marquinhos was down for Norwich, now he's back on his feet. West Brom are on the counter. Thomas Asante racing forward, angle tight inside the area. The shot was blocked by Byram, and it bounces out of play, and it's a throw to West Brom deep inside the Norwich half on the right.
Yeah, I think the referee's going to have a little chat. Yeah, it's I've got to say, with Sorensen, I think it was a very dangerous challenge, but it was a really excellent defensive challenge from Jed Wallace as well, getting back in, seeing the danger, going and helping his team out, and Thomas Asante there, I think, in the attacking third. I think they're still having a little go at each other just now. The ball, he's took a shot on from a ridiculous angle. He has to be better, pick his partner out.
Jason Malumbi pings it across from right to left, headed away by Liam Gibbs for Norwich with the bright yellow boots on. It's come back to the near side of left and Swift, who tries to shimmy infield away from Gibbs, who was stretching, lunged in, a poor challenge. Carlos Corberán not happy. Neither are his assistants, a couple of whom are straight off the bench to complain. Yellow card for Gibbs and a free kick to West Brom in the left wing position.
Well, it's got to say, it's fantastic play from John Swift. You know, he's gave the little fake and then he's turned Gibbs there, and he's committed to the challenge, and the referee's got it spot on, bringing the yellow card out there. It's like you say, it's not a challenge of what you see, but Gibbs took one for the team there, because Swift would have been in behind with the quality he's got. Get his head up, and there's quality coming in the box.
8 minutes gone in the second half. West Brom 1, Norwich 1. Standing over it on the near side is Swift. It's level with the edge of the 18-yard box here, about a yard in field. Television camera right behind Swift. Some of the West Brom fans on their feet behind the goal. Swift with an in-swinging delivery. Nodded high up into the air by Aarons. Not away from danger. Goalkeeper's got to make that his. He doesn't do so. And headed away from inside the 6-yard box by Jakob Sørensen. It was a very nervy moment for the goalkeeper, who was rooted to his line there, Gunn, and flapped at it. And West Brom couldn't take advantage of that, Chris.
Yeah, well, it's important, you know, I think when you're a goalkeeper and you make the decision that you've got to make some sort of contact, it's important. That's what you work on every single day. So he'll be disappointed there, Gunn, but he's got away with it, and West Brom, like you say, couldn't capitalise, so it's good quality coming into the box.
Here's Ajayi, midway inside his own half of the field, and a square ball to the Dutchman Peters, his central defensive colleague, who's been a regular for West Brom this season. We mentioned him earlier, the former Burnley man. Now Aarons in the right back spot, tearing upfield and having to check back on the halfway line, and he'll nudge the ball square to Sara from the right hand edge of the centre circle, out to the near side touchline of Marquinhos, standing right in front of his manager David Wagner, who's got a long dark coat on, his arms are folded. Now Yanulis on the far side, the Norwich left, infield with the pass to Solis, back up the left hand channel. Yanulis will get to this by the dead ball line, will he? No, sliding in, couldn't make it, out of play for a goal kick, and much more cagey in the first 10 minutes of the second half so far. West Brom 1, Norwich 1, and of course both sides must win to keep their respective seasons alive. Yeah,
it was better though, you know, Zolis and Zanulis trying to kind of link up together, a little bit too much on it from Zanulis, but that again, just some of the passes that he's picked out as well today has been excellent. Real understanding in that left hand side, just never paid off in that moment.
I almost feel like it's flown by in some ways this season, and then it feels like it began a heck of a long time ago in other moments. Thomas Asante wriggling away down the near side, the left for West Brom. He's got beyond the defender Aarons, who's left on his backside, sets up Townsend on the underlap. Townsend crosses, Wallace! Far post! Taps it in! West Brom have turned it around! And they're into the lead of the Hawthorns! And the push for the top six is very much on! Jed Wallace timing his run to perfection, in the right place, at the right time, at the far post. West Brom 2, Norwich 1.
Well, the goal came from Thomas Asante and Connor Townsend down this left hand side. What? So hard to win it back. He got up, he could have went down, got a free kick in the halfway line, but no, he kept on his feet. Referee played on. Connor Townsend broke his neck to go up there and support. The way to pass from Thomas Asante to Townsend was outstanding, and then Connor Townsend, he just delivers, doesn't he? Gets his head up, cuts it back, there's bodies breaking their neck to get in, 3 against 2, shouldn't happen in a Norwich defensive point of view. Comes to Jed Wallace, he's been ever present in that first half, been slow start, what an excellent goal all round. You know what, winning the ball back, keeping possession, breaking your neck to go up there and support your partner, and then the finishing itself was excellent.
And so West Brom would be guaranteed to be just 2 points off the playoffs going into the final day, and for Norwich it would be season over if it stays like this. West Brom lead by 2-1. They were 1-0 down, but they've come from behind, but it's Norwich on the counter straight away. Gibbs right down by the corner flag, managing to control and whip in a right-footed cross, and it bounces towards Solis, and then Sargent, who may have got the final touch. I'm not sure he knew anything about it, and it's gathered by the goalkeeper Palmer. Certainly nothing behind the final touch. It hit Solis initially, and then did it hit Sargent on its way through, Chris O'Halloran?
Well, it needs to be in the back of the net. I've got to say, Gibbs puts in a great ball. Solis, I don't know what he's done. If he's closed his eyes, he's took his eyes off the ball, he's just not made a good connection. It's an excellent ball in. It's a comfortable header for Solis, but he just doesn't have that connection to steer it goalwards. There's great pace on the cross from Gibbs as well. Has to be better. It's another great opportunity there for Norwich.
Hawthorns is alive with noise. West Brom 2, Norwich 1. A long way still to go. 2.5 minutes shy of the hour mark. But West Brom have got the breakthrough. And Thomas Asante is in a foot race with Omar Bamidele. And he's beaten him to it. Omar Bamidele does well, the Norwich captain. They're both holding each other's shirt.
The referee's got that
and
wrong.
then the free kick goes the way of Norwich. And I have no idea how it's gone that way. They were both at it. But Omar Bamidele, I think, was the greater offender in that situation.
It's an excellent it's a fantastic race as well. Thomas Asante got there just first, but defensively Omar Bamidele was there. But then all of a sudden he's pulling him, and as Omar Bamidele's going to the floor, he takes Thomas Asante down. I don't understand. I'm having to look at it to see if both. I'll tell you what, it's another yellow card. Watch it. He pulls him. He takes him with him. I don't understand. I guess I'm looking at it now from another angle, and Asante has the shots of Omar Bamidele as well, so the referee...
Do you let play go on in that situation?
Let play go on.
I'm not sure it's a free kick to anybody.
Both are at it.
Well, you know exactly what it's like, Chris, as a former striker, to be in that sort of tussle.
It's an interesting one, but like you say, the referee is obviously just seen it very unsighted with Omar Bamidele pulling down the arm of Thomas Asante there.
And then there's a foul by Yakushlu, and I think the referee's brought the play back for a foul earlier on in the move as Norwich attacked, and it's a free kick to the visitors. They initially thought it was closer to the 18-yard box than initially imagined. It's about 30, maybe 35 yards from goal here, right of centre. Probably too far out for a shot. It's about 10-12 yards further back from where Townsend scored the initial equaliser for West Brom, who now lead 2-1. And so West Brom will take their race to the playoffs into the final day if it stays like this, and they'll condemn Norwich to another season at least in the Championship. But there's still half an hour to go. Sarah and Gibbs are the two over the ball for the team in yellow and green.
Yeah, it's definitely what the game needed. That second goal, I think it's just livened the game up, got a little bit more open as well. But can they capitalise? I think he's going to go for goal here,
Sarah, the Brazilian, plays it square to the edge of the box. It's a free kick routine. They've knocked it wide to Aarons down the inside right channel. It was Solis with the pass, but Aarons couldn't control. Townsend tracked his runner all the way, and now Carlin Grant is trying to block off Aarons down by the corner flag. West Brom working really hard off the ball, but Aarons swings in a left-footed delivery, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to West Brom. 2-1 they lead on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. And Teemu Pukki now warming up for Norwich.
Yes, it's crazy, I think, with the quality that he's delivered the past 2 seasons in the Championship. That he's sitting on the bench, but he called it, the transitional period. Teemu Pukki only being on 10 goals, not playing as much football as he would like. It does play a part. But there, Max Aarons, excellent ball into the box, I think, and it has to be attacked. A couple of Norwich players just caught in their heels.
I should give you both benches. I said I'd do that earlier. West Brom, Albrighton, Gardner-Hickman, Bartley, Griffiths the goalkeeper, the youngsters Fowl and Malcolm, and Jake Livermore, who's leaving the club in the summer. The skipper penned an open letter to the club's fans earlier this week. Norwich subs: Pukki, Ida, Hayden, Rowe, Nunez, Krul the goalkeeper, and the youngster Brad Hills. So there are options off the bench for both teams, but it's West Brom who are in charge at the moment. Carlos Corberán very animated on the near side touchline, their manager. Little flick by Gibbs, but he can't turn it beyond Peters into the path of a teammate, and it's through to Palmer, the West Brom goalkeeper, all in bright orange away to our right hand side. They're a side who've been very good at home this season, West Brom. They lost here to Sunderland last time out, but that was their first home defeat in 14 games, and only their second under Carlos Corberán. What an impact he's made whatever happens this season since taking charge. Now Wallace, the man who's put West Brom 2-1 up, jinking down the inside left channel. Now he's sprinted towards the corner flag. Aarons gets a tackle in, and it's a West Brom throw. Atmosphere's built back up here again in this part of the West Midlands, Chris.
Yeah, I think Jed Wallace has been outstanding. Yeah, the atmosphere, I think the players have played their part. They've got the fans buying into exactly what they're seeing at the minute. And you know what, using the ball well, I think it's important that they manage the game. You know, I think under Carlos Corberán, I think when they have that lead, you know, I think they kind of try and see games out, use the ball well, but they've got quality in all departments.
I think we might have a quadruple change coming up for Norwich, potentially. At least 3 it looks like, and Pukki is getting some final instructions as well. Adam Eder and John Rowe are down there. Here is Zolis anyway for Norwich up at the far end of the field. He's tangling with Ajayi following him all the way. Back it goes to Yanulis in field to Sara, who's about 15 yards into the Norwich half. Aarons has got a little pocket of space, but plays it on the angle to the right. Marquinhos, West Brom with almost everybody back, everybody bar Thomas Asante. Now Marquinhos to the feet of Omar Bamidele. And so much excitement generated by the Championship today, and still to come. Cross by Yanulis, header away by Ajayi, flying header from inside the penalty area. Swift will hook it forward, up to Thomas Asante, turns away from Byron. Thomas Asante, halfway line, he's gone for goal from miles out, it's dipping, and it's just over the bar. Well, what an astounding effort from Brandon Thomas Asante. Nothing was on. He turned Byram. He went to chip the goalkeeper. I'm not sure Angus Gunn would have got there, Chris.
No, he wouldn't have. It was on target. You know, I think I'm looking at it. It would have been a close one. Angus Gunn having a little smile. What an excellent effort from Thomas Asante there. Great awareness, fantastic touch. As soon as he got turned, drove over the halfway line, right at the centre spot. He's got his head up, seen Angus Gunn, and you know what? Not a bad effort at all, because Angus Gunn was scrambling all the way back, and it just came down and hit the roof of the net in there. It was a fantastic effort from Thomas Asante.
Norwich are ringing the changes. Teemu Pukki, Adam Eder, John Rowe and Isaac Hayden all coming on. Marquinhos, Zolis, Gibbs and one other yet to be confirmed leaving the field. Isaac Hayden hasn't played nearly as much football as he would want this season, and it's Sørensen going off, the final change for Norwich. On comes Hayden. John Rowe, just his second appearance this season off the bench. Again, he's had a lot of injury issues to contend with. Adam Eder actually likewise. Pukki 10 goals this season, but he's been close to 30 in each of his previous 2 championship campaigns. Well, it's Pukki's last stand these last couple of games, and this last 25 minutes could be Norwich's last stand in their fate bid for the playoffs. But West Brom lead 2-1, and it's they who are still in the race as it stands. Thomas Asante trying to charge down the right. A ricochet deflects the ball to the edge of the penalty area, cleared away only as far as Swift. Swift on the edge of the D, faced up by Hayden straight away. Now Yakushlu, on to Malumbi. 4 changes, you don't often see that. Crossed by Furlong, looping high from the right, dipping towards the far post. Goalkeeper got 2 gloves to it. Corner, and that's the right decision from the referee. Gunn will appeal, but it wasn't a foul by Townsend, Chris, from what I could tell.
No, it wasn't. Genuine attempt. I think Gunn will be disappointed again. You know, he knows he's going to get challenged. I'm looking at the hands. If it is given, you know, Connor Townsend does put his hands on the back of Angus Gunn there, so you know it could very easily be a free kick there, Joe. I know they get a lot of protection goalkeepers, but I think he had every right to ask for something there, Angus Gunn.
Jed Wallace will take the corner. Birmingham Road end. It'll be a right-footed in-swinging delivery, whipped high and deep to the far post, and Townsend was underneath it. Firm header clear by Yanulis under pressure, and it's a throw this time to West Brom, about 5 yards from the corner flag as we look at it. In the Premier League today, Crystal Palace 4, West Ham 3, live on Talksport. Brentford 2, Forest 1, and Brighton 6, Wolves 0. More Premier League football on Talksport on Monday night. Leicester against Everton Tuesday, Arsenal against Chelsea Wednesday, Manchester City against West Ham, and here on 2, Liverpool against Fulham. West Brom have a throw, and Furlong has wiped the ball with a bright towel, and he'll hurl it in long from that throw, headed away by Sargent at the near post. We are into the final quarter of the game, and for Norwich here, well, it's got to be all-out attack from this point. They need 2 goals to keep their season going. A draw wouldn't be enough for either team to still be in with a shout of making the top 6, by the way. Nudged infield from the right by Wallace and intercepted by Hayden. Hayden draws the foul from the onrushing Darnell Furlong, and a free kick to Norwich deep inside their own half the field. And it's a tough equation for both, Chris, but West Brom would love the cushion of another goal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing. I think Norwich will just throw everything at it now. Players bombing forwards. So West Brom just have to do what they're doing, manage the game defensively, be compact, hard to break down, but in that moment, in that transition, how quickly can you play forward and capitalise, open up those little holes that Norwich are going to be leaving. We're trying to get more men in advanced areas.
West Brom travel to Swansea on the final day. Swansea have nothing to play for. They're out of the playoff race. West Brom would be 2 points off the top 6. Here is Thomas Asante, twisting and turning, always a menace for Championship defenders. Fouled by Omobami Dele, who's not happy with the referee. Not a great deal of contact again, but a free kick to West Brom.
He has to be very careful. I think on a yellow card already, isn't he? I think.
But no, he's not Byram.
Oh, right. Well, it's like you say, the referee. He's had a few challenges, Omar Dele there, and I think it's he just has to be careful. Or like you say, it's just persistent fouling, isn't it, that he will receive a yellow card. But again, good strong play from Thomas Asante down this left side, just inviting that pressure. But like you say, defensively, can he get closer? Can he make that contact earlier? Don't let Thomas Asante get control of the ball and even get turned even.
Swift's free kick infield from the left hand side, high to the far post. Townsend going underneath it after the initial header was won by Ajayi, but brave goalkeeping by Gunn to beat Townsend to the ball, and now he leathers it upfield, high down the left wing, cleared away by Peters, who was the man back. In fact, it's Wallace who got the touch to nudge it out of play. A Norwich throw beneath the glare of the floodlights, and the base of the east stand, the far side, which has got the executive boxes at the top. Here is Sarah for Norwich, halfway now on the right, setting up Aarons nudges it down the near side channel, and Pookie looking to whip in an early cross, blocked off at the near post by Peters. Plays it back now to Sarah from 30 yards, takes a deflection on its way behind for a corner. It came off Swift.
Yeah, it's like you say, you're taking opportunities, shot from distance there. It would have been a wonder goal if it were in, but it's just more pressure that West Brom have to make sure that they're organised and they defend well. I think take the positions, take responsibility here, because Norwich, look at the bodies that Norwich are throwing at it now. Everyone's coming up.
West Brom with everybody back.
Yeah, it's what you have to do. I think we've seen from Jed Wallace already.
And both sides know the stakes. Winner takes all. Corner on the near side by Sarah, really poor. Cleared away by the first man, Townsend, on the volley. On a day where Wigan have been relegated from the Championship, Plymouth and Ipswich have both won promotion back to the Championship, both after a long time away. In League 2, Stevenage are up, but Hartlepool have been relegated out of the Football League. And so much more between now and the end of the regular campaign. We'll have commentary of the final day of the Championship and League 2 seasons, which happens to be on the same day. The League 2 campaign will finish first, and then we're into the Championship, and full coverage of the League 1 final day next weekend as well. Here is Wallace on the ball, infield with the pass to Malumbi, back out wide to Jed Wallace, the man whose goal has West Brom 2-1 up. I can't believe, Chris, we're already in the 71st minute of the game. It's flown by.
Like you say, I think it's definitely picked up. This second half started very slow, but the goal just they've kicked on again, and this is what you want to see.
They've been the better team, West Brom, haven't they?
I think they have. I think they've managed the game better. The goal was, both teams were poor, but it was good quality to get that second goal for Jed Wallace, and then from there I think they've managed it well. I think Norwich just have to kind of get the ball down, get those passes in the way that Wagner wants to play through the thirds, be a little bit more patient with it rather than going a little bit more direct. But he's made the 4 changes, and I think it's just getting as many players in that attacking area, getting the ball up there, winning second balls is so important for Norwich at the minute, and they're not doing that.
Here is a lovely dummy by Swift, who plays it back to Thomas Asante down the middle, trying to thread it up towards the run of Grant. Plays some great stuff, West Brom. A long way away from where they were earlier this season, the struggles under Steve Bruce. They started with 2 wins from 16 in the league. Here is Rowe, though, for Norwich, driving infield from the right to a central position. He's now midway inside the West Brom half, pokes it to the corner of the penalty area in Sargent. Quick feet to dart away from Grant. Back in field, shepherds the ball to the feet of Hayden, who saw Thomas Asante coming behind him, knocks it wide to Yanulis with the deep cross. Rowe fouls Townsend. Free kick to West Brom, and for West Brom, all about securing an 11th home league win of the season and keeping their hopes alive going into the final day.
Yeah, I think it's a silly foul there from Rowe. There's no need for him to make any contact with Townsend, and just, all the bodies are forwards. Keep it in the attacking third for Norwich and keep that pressure on. It's just letting West Brom off with it now, giving possession to them as well, and now you're going to have to defend. They're going to go direct up to Thomas Asante and pick up the balls. It's what they do. Usually with Carlos Corberan's side, try and play it through the back all the time, but now it's about playing football in the right areas.
And Corberan and Wagner only about 15 feet apart on the touchline. Neither has left their position on the edge of their respective technical areas across the whole of the game. Lovely flick by Grant, but he's blocked off by Hayden. Townsend nudges it infield to Swift, back to Townsend, near side left channel, teases the ball square, and Thomas Asante couldn't reach it. And they've got a player down here, West Brom, as Sargent wins it back, and Grant is holding his head. West Brom played on initially, and now Norwich continue in possession, with Sargent surging up the left, the far side. Still Grant is down, he's slowly getting to his feet now. Sargent plays it square edge of the box to Sara. Sara blocks off, that was a poor pass, but it's luckily for Norwich come back to Yanulis. Now Hayden, everybody back for West Brom bar Grant, who's now trying to trot towards the edge of his own box to help out, but Townsend, he's had a brilliant game, has blocked off Aarons. Townsend up the left hand channel, halfway line, he's not got much in the way of support. Townsend holds it up, does the right thing, keeps possession, goes backwards to Swift, and the West Brom captain has really put in a captain's performance tonight. The equalising goal and the assist for the one that might be the winner.
Yeah, I think he's been excellent. I think defensively does his job, gets back, and I think he's always kind of an outlet, always wants the ball. I think very composed in possession, but like you say, it's final delivery, it's final quality, it's end product, and he's ticking all those boxes.
Well, we've got 16 minutes plus stoppage time to go, and the season comes down to these moments now for both clubs, or at least continuing the season does. There'll still be plenty of final day drama, and we'll bring it to you Monday week on the Talksport network. West Brom are going to make a double change very shortly. Taylor and Mark Albrighton is down there, certainly stripped and ready to come on in the blue and white of West Brom, and it is Gardner Hickman who is also getting some final instructions. Omobamidele with a risky back pass to Garnett, bobbling in front of the goalkeeper, who is under pressure on Omobamidele from both Grant and Thomas Asante. That high press of West Brom, such a feature of a Carlos Corberan team. And here comes the double change, which is not that surprising because they've gone 75 minutes without making a change. One of the West Brom analysts is very close to us. He's the man you can hear screaming instructions from just to the right of us. And Grant is the first man to go off, and here comes the very experienced Loney Mark Albrighton. Carlin Grant leaving the field now, and Taylor Gardner Hickman, as we say, is going to come on as well. West Brom through and through, and he will replace Yakushlu in what is a straight swap here into the final 15 minutes. A standing ovation for both the West Brom players who've just come off, and it's 2-1 to West Brom against Norwich in the EFL Live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. West Brom closing in on taking their playoff fight down to the last day. They'd be 2 points adrift, and Norwich know that nothing but a win is good enough for them. As it stands, Norwich will be in the Championship for another season. Flicked by Thomas Asante straight to Omobamidele. High ball upfield, headed down by Furlong, cleared away by Byram. Little back heel by Sarah, manages to find the feet of Hayden on the halfway line. Now Rowe looking to scamper forward, tracking back is Jed Wallace, who has been ever present in the league this season for West Brom, and you can see why tonight, Chris.
Yeah, what's very hard for the team. I think not only the quality of what he does, he's so direct, he drives, the quality coming in from wide areas is excellent, and then he brings goals as well, but defensively he does his work for the team, and it's very, very selfless.
Ball is bouncing up and down at the halfway line. Norwich seeing more of the ball. Byram closed down by the tireless Thomas Asante, and then the goalkeeper Gunn has to hammer it high up onto the roof, and almost feels like it's dropped right above us there, Chris. The ball. It's on the Halfords Lane Road now.
Yeah, again, Thomas Asante without the ball, he's putting pressure. I still expect Gunn, with the quality he has with his feet as well, just to keep possession. Can he not just turn the West Brom defence there? I know it was bouncing and it's coming into him, but again, this is what they train, this is what he knows. I know his distribution from ground is very, very good.
Throw to West Brom, which Townsend will take midway inside his own half of the field, the Norwich half of the field. Long throw to the edge of the Norwich box, cleared away not entirely convincingly by Byram, but chested down well by Rowe. Rowe's pass up towards Pukki is a poor one. Pukki's not really had a kick since coming on. Ajayi wins it back for West Brom. 12 and a half to go. And 2-1 to the home team against Norwich City here. Here is Townsend. It's been a day of ups and downs in the EFL, and more twists and turns to come, make no mistake about that. It's not over yet. And forward by Malumbi, steering it high up the right hand side. Gardner-Hickman's going to chase that. Gunner's come a long way, right out to beyond the edge of his penalty area to kick it into touch.
This is what Gardner-Hickman brings. I think that late running, trying to break the defensive line of Norwich, was an excellent run, and the ball was a little bit too much on it, but Angus Gunn came out and swooped up any danger whatsoever. But that's the threat. I think Malumbi, Yukushlu beside him can get forward and bomb, but now that kind of responsibility falls with Malumbi just to sit and protect.
Furlong out on the West Brom right. He's level with the edge of the penalty area, sets up Swift, who's down by the corner flag. Swift with the ball in field, and it's intercepted by Hayden, who hammers it high and long, but Pukki's not there. He was shy of the halfway line. He was never going to reach that. It would be a shame for Teemu Pukki's Norwich career to peter out without a playoff place, but that said, he has been instrumental in helping Norwich to the league title on 2 previous occasions, and hit double figures in both Premier League campaigns that he's played in as well. I think he's more than done his bit. Forward by Omobamidele, high towards Pukki, but Ajayi jumps to head clear. It's come now to Albrighton. Albrighton long ball up the middle. Byram had to reach that, and he cushions the header away to the feet of the Norwich man who's on the ball now, Yanulis, infield from left back. Yanulis managing to find Omobamidele, and now Rose shy of the halfway line. I'm not sure how much dynamism really Norwich have brought to the game so far with that quadruple change, Chris. Of course, I could certainly still be proven wrong, but they've not created anything.
No, they haven't. They're going, you look at the front two, Joe Sargent, Pukki feeding off scraps at the minute. The quality from back to front isn't great at all. Understand why he's made the change, bringing on offensive players to try and change it, because I think West Brom were comfortable. I think they were managing the game very well, but the quality has to be better. Picking up second balls in the attacking third, it's not happening at the minute, because defensively I think West Brom are winning all the area of duels. They've got the likes of Malumbi, Yukushlu, who was now Gardner-Hickman, that's come on, picking up all second balls, so it's not really kind of played out the way that Wagner would have wanted.
Last third the dice for David Wagner. Off goes Sara, and on comes the Chilean Marcelino Nunez. And Norwich need to score twice. A draw is no good to either team. If they were to get an equaliser, Norwich, but no further goals, then that would mean both sides would definitely miss out on the playoffs. So both have got to win, and it's West Brom who are in the commanding position with 9 minutes to go. 2-1 up, and nobody's leaving the Hawthorns just yet. There'll be some West Brom following away at Swansea on the final day if they're still in contention. Forward by Aarons for Norwich, up towards Rowe. He's about 15 yards shy of the halfway line. Back to Aarons in the right back position again. He skips away from Wallace. Good feet by Max Aarons. He's always comfortable with the ball at his feet, and smuggled away by Peters out of play for a throw to Norwich in between both dugouts. Josh Sargent wanted to take a quick one, so they've got Sargent, Eder and Pukki on the field now, Norwich City. But are they going to make it 1 win in 10? It looks like it at the moment. West Brom are going to bring on the very experienced defender Kyle Bartley very shortly. A little turn with the reverse ball infield by Pukki, but he can't find a teammate in yellow. It's with Aarons now. Aarons chips the ball long up the inside right channel, header away by Peters. Townsend has let it run towards Wallace. Wallace turns the ball over, straight back to Norwich, and a lot of turnovers in possession at the moment, Chris.
Yes, there is. I think it's playing into the hands of West Brom at the minute. Norwich trying to force the issue. I'd like to see them be a little bit more patient, using the holding midfielders, although that personnel's changed. Needs to be better quality.
Here is Aarons for Norwich, level the edge of the penalty area. That's a decent ball in, but it's headed away by Ajayi, who's been excellent through a crowd. Such a commanding presence, Shemi Ajayi again today. Nunez has it for Norwich, edge of the centre circle. Forward now to Rowe. Rowe corner of the box, rifles a right-footed effort, miles over the top, a good 20 yards over the bar.
Yeah, wrong decision there from Rowe. I think his eyes lit up as soon as the goal presented itself, but just the pass out to Max Aarons there was the pass on. Like you say, there's offensive players on. It's all about deliveries coming into the box. He had an opportunity just a couple of minutes before Aarons, and it wasn't the best of balls, and that's what I'm saying. Those attacking players are kind of feeding off scraps at the minute. So Wagner, he should be saying, with quality, you don't have to get into the attacking third. You can play those crosses in from deep. We've got physicality, we've got aggression in there, and we've got new legs in those kind of 10 positions that's going to be coming, supporting, picking up second balls. But the quality has to be coming into the box.
I wonder, at this stage in the game, with Bartley about to come on, that's surely going to be a back five effectively for West Brom, you would think.
Yeah, again, managing the game, I think it's going to get even more direct from Norwich into these later moments. But Kyle Bartley, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the experience, very aggressive player, organises, not afraid to put his body in front on the line, and he'll go and win those aerial duels.
And as if to confirm what we suspected, John Swift is leaving the field and Kyle Bartley coming on to an attacking player for a defender, and Bartley's going to slot in, you imagine, on one side or in the middle of the two. The centre halves are already on the pitch in the shape of Ajayi and Peters. 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Talksport 2, home of the EFL. West Brom 2, Norwich 1. More EFL commentary tomorrow. Cardiff against Huddersfield in the Championship. Massive for Huddersfield in their fight against relegation. And on Monday, Rotherham definitely not safe yet either, but they could be safe if they beat Middlesbrough. That's live on Monday lunchtime. Monday 1 o'clock kickoff. Talksport 2. Here is Aarons on the halfway line, so West Brom have made that change, and it looks like indeed they have gone to a back five of 3 centre halves. Ball on the halfway line for Norwich. It's with Nunez. Nunez glides away from Thomas Asante, who just doesn't stop running. Long ball by Nunez, high up the right, headed away by Peters, with Pukki in close attention. Peters, who you feel could prolong his career by some way, because of course he was a left back at Stoke City and initially at Burnley, but very much a centre half at West Brom.
I think experience, he's talking all the time, positionally knows the position. I think he's very aware of where he is on the pitch, and yeah, he's composed, and that's what you want. You want leaders out there that's not afraid to go and put your head on it, and he does exactly that.
It's not done yet though. Both teams have got to win. Poked forward by Byram into the penalty area. Nunes can't get the wrong side of Ajayi, who held him off and waited for Palmer to come out. There have been some massive performances, actually I think among the back line, but throughout the team for West Bromwich Albion today.
Oh, it's to be expected. I think lost the 2 defeats in the last 2 games. and you know what, the performance in both games, it warranted probably more. So again, it's down to Corberan to keep the players at that level, to come out and have that belief. Semi Ajayi's got himself back in the team, and I think he's been absolutely outstanding. You know, Townsend, Peters, we could go through them all defensively. They know their duties, and they've been good. So that in itself gives the confidence to the players in front to go out and express themselves, and we've seen some great quality.
Mobamidele just stepping into West Brom territory, playing it square to Nunez. He's immediately hassled by Gardner-Hickman, so Norwich have to go backwards all the way in the end to their goalkeeper. You can hear the applause from the home fans. Carlos Corberan knows it's not done yet though, and one slip ironically could end the season for both teams. Here is Aarons in the right back position. Aarons just shuffles in field, back to Gunn, the goalkeeper again. Norwich trying to go hell for leather in terms of getting as many attacking players on the field as they can. They've done that, but they haven't really created all that much in the second half. Forward by Mobamidele to Pukki. Pukki, bald-headed and with the beard, he scampers away from three in West Brom colours and finds Nunez. Nunez 25 yards out, sprays it to the left, but behind Yanulis, who's stretched but couldn't keep possession. And that may be starting to sum up Norwich's day, and a rather tame end to the season for them as the ball goes out of play for a West Brom throw. West Brom lead 2-1, and West Brom getting the win that they need to keep their campaign going.
Yeah, it wasn't bad from Norwich there. Good ball into Pukki, keeps it alive. Fine Nunez, and I'm surprised he's not taking the shot on there. You know, he's driving into centre. He's not entering into the D. He goes with outside of the boot and tries to find Janulis there. And the opportunity is, the goal's there. You know, ask the question. If anything, it's probably guilty of overplaying, but they've got a lot of attacking players on, and they've not really kind of taken those opportunities on.
Ball is on the halfway line. Norwich have won the 50-50, and they've got it back now with Aarons. Aarons up into opposition territory to find Sargent in front of the Norwich dugout. Back in field to Nunez, and now on the centre spot is Hayden. Norwich seeing a lot of the ball, but they need to score twice here with 2 minutes of normal time to go. It's back with the number 8 Hayden again. A square ball to the tip of the centre circle, floated crossfield by Nunez, but way too deep. He's trying to get on the ball and make things happen, but 2 careless passes in a matter of minutes. There might be a problem for Eric Peters here, who's gone down. There will be a goal kick to West Brom either way. Peters a quick word with Pukki.
Yeah, well, the funniest thing about that was Kyle Bartley just gestured to Carlos Corberan. Yeah, he's okay. So it's a little bit of time wasting there. Yeah, he's done alright, Eric Peters. Like you say, he knows, and this is part and parcel of the game as well.
It will be, I'm sure, quite a bit of time added on. Some West Brom fans starting to gather near the concourse areas, gathering near the exits. Job not done yet. Cleared long by the goalkeeper, header away by Hayden up to the halfway line. Now Peters is facing his own goal. He's back up on his feet, but he'll hack the clearance up the left wing towards Thomas Asante. On Mobamidele's touch, Aarons' touch out of play. Norwich are fading away in the game here, and their season is grinding to a halt.
Yeah, it is. You know, I think it just what we've seen in the first half with good quality, intensity, been lacking the second half. You know, and the players have went out there, they've conceded that goal, then all of a sudden they've reacted well, got into the game a little bit. But like you said, West Brom have just been professional about it, seen the game out and snuffed out any danger. Again, just letting the ball, and rightfully so. Rowe shouldn't make the challenge.
Rowan Malumbi tangling here, and Malumbi, it's almost like he's trapped Rowe's leg between his legs, and still Rowe can't get free, and now that's led to players from both sides getting involved, and there's pushing and shoving between 2 or 3 different players. Gardner-Hickman was there on Mobamidele, and then Byram came across. The referee just stood watching it all happen, fans on their feet, and that's going to settle down a bit now, but not before the referee has at least a talking to with a couple of these players. 5 minutes of added time. West Brom 2, Norwich 1. And it's just a talking to, I think, from Malumbi and Rowe. That's probably the sensible thing done by the referee. Well, there'd be 2 points adrift, Chris. 2 points. And who knows what can happen going into the final day.
Well, I think the challenge Carlos Corberan would throw at his players after the obviously the defeat to Sunderland and defeat to Sheffield United, is to say, you know what, go out and win the next 2 games, maximum points, and let's just see if someone does us a favour. They're right in the mix, aren't they? And that's all they can ask for at the minute if they can see this game out.
Townsend has chipped the ball off the shins of Aarons and out of play for a corner to West Brom, and they're going to keep the ball by the corner flag here. Certainly no need to force the issue. 1 minute of the 5 added has been played live on Talksport 2. And I think Jake Livermore, the captain, is going to get a send-off at the Hawthorns here. Leaving the club in the summer, he's going to come on very shortly, I imagine, at the next stoppage of play. West Brom have got the ball down by the corner flag, and it's tapped out of play by Malumbi. And, well, Livermore's actually put his jacket and his bib back on, so maybe he's not going to get on at all. And I guess, well, that's the cheer for Livermore, but I guess maybe no room for sentiment in football, Chris.
Well, when Jake Livermore came in, you know, he was straight away getting stripped. One of Carlos Corberan's coaches put the hand on his shoulder and he kind of shrugged it off. He wants to come on. I think it's the right thing to do, to go and let him have a proper farewell.
Even this sort of situation?
Yeah, even this, because he's experienced. He's been there, he's done it. You know what I mean? He's going to go on, sees out time, it runs the clock down.
There'll be some ovation for the club captain.
Definitely.
2 minutes of the 5 played. West Brom 2, Norwich 1. Norwich's season about to effectively come to an end, but West Brom are going to be in the fight for the playoffs. Wallace gets the ball in front of Aarons, and Wallace hooks up across to the edge of the box. It's nodded down by Gardner-Hickman, away by Byram. And now Yanulis. It's a very strange situation, this, because the odds of Norwich scoring twice in 2.5 minutes are pretty unlikely. A draw, remember, would mean no playoffs, or no chance of playoffs for either club. Livermore's taken his jacket off now, and the captain, who's made over 200 appearances for the club since joining in 2017, leaving this summer, is going to get probably about 90 seconds at the end of the game. West Brom fans applauding. The ball's on the halfway line. 2 minutes to go here. Aarons plays it back to Gunn. And for Norwich, the season comes down to these 2 minutes, but maybe hope was realistically lost last week at home to Swansea. And similarly for West Brom, the season comes down to these 2 minutes now. Can they keep the fight going until next week? Carlos Corberan hopping up and down, a bundle of energy on the edge of his technical area. 90 seconds left. Cushion header by Furlong up to Gardner-Hickman. Gardner-Hickman trying to race down the right, and Albrighton has managed to get across and win a throw for West Brom. And here comes that change, and the whole of the Hawthorns is on its feet. Off goes Jed Wallace, and on comes the club captain for the final time at the Hawthorns in a West Bromwich Albion shirt. Jake Livermore, after 6 years of service, leaving the club this summer, and he gets hold of the captain's armband on this ground for one last time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Fantastic send-off. Been an excellent servant. Professional as ever, by the way, and an absolute leader of a man. But look at that reaction. Reception he's getting, it's outstanding. Straight away coming on, only 60 seconds to play, organising, shuffling around, does what he does.
It's actually his first league appearance since early November. We've only got 30 seconds officially left in the game, but I reckon you can probably add on another 30 seconds to that because of the change. Norwich have the ball, but it's deep inside their own half, and they're surely not going to score twice now. It's West Brom's initiative to lose here. They're 2-1 up, and that's all they needed to take the fight to the very last day. Forward by Townsend, he's just going to knock it towards the corner flag. Down went Gardner-Hickman, it's out of play, it's a goal kick. We've had the 5 minutes of added time. All around the Hawthorns, they're on their feet. Omobamidele has it, edge of the penalty area, and the home crowd obeying the referee for the final whistle. I think there might be a few seconds still to go because of the substitution. Now it's with Hayden, 10 yards shy of halfway. Square ball to Omobamidele. 2-1 West Brom. Forward by Omobamidele up the right. Peters let it bounce. Here comes the goalkeeper Palmer, and he spilled that, the goalkeeper. Peters hacks it away. Throw to Norwich right down by the corner flag. It's not done just yet. Even though a Norwich equaliser wouldn't change things for them, it would certainly change things for West Brom. Nunez with a very deep cross, high towards Ida, headed away, not very far, drops down by the byline. Shemi Ajayi steers it forward. Now they're on the counter, West Brom. It's with Albrighton up to Thomas Asante. Norwich get it away through Ida, and we've now had nearly 6 minutes of added time. The referee has looked at his watch as West Brom surely now playing out the final few seconds. Great noise at the Hawthorns. The throw from Furlong high up the right-hand side. The header away for Norwich City by Hayden. Still we play on. 6.5 minutes into stoppage time. Carlos Corberán takes a swig from a water bottle. His team are nearly there. When he joined the club, they were in the relegation zone, remember. But as the full-time whistle goes, they are still within a shout of making the playoffs as the season reaches its final day. West Brom have taken the top 6 fight right to the wire. It will be 2 from 5, and we will be there for the final day across the Talksport network. Coventry and Millwall in pole position, but Sunderland, Blackburn and West Bromwich Albion will have something to say about that.